Hey there, I'm Wyatt Jenkins. I'm the head of product at Procore, and I represent the team of engineers, designers, and product managers who wake up every day and build technology for the construction industry. Can we go to the next slide? As you know, Procore is dedicated to this industry. And when we hire folks to join us, I tell them about our mission. I say, hey, look, we're here to connect everyone in construction on a global platform. If you are excited about that, we want you on board. Well, today you're going to hear from some of those people, some of those product managers, engineers, and designers who have been busy building technology for all of you in construction. Some of what you're going to see today includes how we're building flexibility and configurability into our platform. It's really important that no matter what the process is that you have at your company, that Procore can manage that process. Another thing you'll see today, we've been busy at work on a world-class workflow engine. And you're going to start to see the way that workflow engine manifests itself in Procore and on our platform. You've probably seen in the news in the last 6 to 12 months that we've been investing heavily in data, analytics, and artificial intelligence. We've also done some acquisitions along that route. What you're going to see today in some of these exciting releases are some of the fruit that is born from those investments, including enhanced reporting. Lastly, look, we're always listening to your feedback. There's a bunch of different channels we use to hear you and try to pivot and be responsive to customer feedback. And so you're going to see a bunch of user experience upgrades today based on that feedback. So thank you, keep it coming, and I'm excited to share all this with you. I'll pass it over to Alyssa.
Well, thanks, Wyatt. Good morning and welcome to the What's Coming webinar. I'm so stoked to be here with you all this morning, so let's jump right in. So what is this webinar and why did we make it? This webinar is designed to help you and your teams leverage new releases the moment they happen. In the next 90 minutes, we're going to give you a sneak peek into what's coming in the next 90 days. A few things to note, this webinar includes what we're planning on releasing to beta or general availability between July and September of this year. So this isn't a complete representation of all of our product investments or our full roadmap. Everything that is not GA that's mentioned in this presentation is subject to change. So speaking of, before we get started, I just want to take a moment to remind you that we're going to be sharing some really cool new features that are not generally available yet. So please make sure that you're making your purchasing decisions based on what's available today. And you can read the full text of this slide on our website. So keep in mind, this webinar is just one of the many resources we have available to help you and your team stay up to date on product releases. You can subscribe to What's New in Procore, join our community group, attend the monthly new release webinars, or check out the support page. All of these resources really bundle together to help set you and your teams up for success with new releases. So let's understand the format of this webinar. Let's jump in. So these are some of the details that'll be helpful to pay attention to. On each slide, there's going to be a life cycle flag in the top left corner, and in the top right corner, there will be an info table. The life cycle flag will indicate where we're at with this product release. I just want to call out here that we're not including the releases in the pilot stage today. So let's run through the definitions here. So in development means that it's currently being built out, not available to customers, but on our delivery roadmap. Closed beta means we are early testing, which is a small select group of customers. And then beta means we're testing openly with opt-in customers. GA phased rollout means it's a new feature being rolled out in phases to customers over a period of time. And then generally available means it's a new feature that's being released and is widely available to our customers. And then on the right side, you will have an info table, and this table is going to call out what tool this release is affecting, what region it's available in, and then who this feature is for. So bringing it all together, this is what it's going to look like. This is what every slide is going to look like. So be sure to keep an eye on those two pieces of two sections, just to make sure that you are aware of what it's affecting. So before we dive into all the releases, wanted to kick it over to Jim.
Hey, thanks, Alyssa and Wyatt. We're really excited to talk to you about all of the features that we're delivering in the coming 90 days. But we wanted to always set the context of what those features mean in the broader picture of Procore. Our vision of Procore is to connect everyone in construction across all your projects on a single platform so that you can build smarter. That means you're the GC, the owner, the specialty contract, all the teams that help you get the job done from pre-construction all the way through to closeout on a single platform. And so many of the features that we're going to look at today leverage that cross-platform technology, the ability to stitch workflows across pre-construction to project management, and are things that are core to making the entire platform better. And one of the things that we're not going to go deep on today is the marketplace, because one of the things that we have that's so important to basically to being on the platform is the fact that you can augment. And so in other channels, we will inform you of partners that we're adding to give flexibility to the platform. But the time and time again, the most successful customers that use Procore plus a handful of partners. So please make sure to check out our partners. So we're going to go through all these features, and we're going to start with pre-construction and then go through that image before. And what we wanted to focus on with pre-construction, we've got a lot of exciting things that we're going to talk to you at Groundbreak in the fall about. But the one thing that we wanted to talk to you today about is where we're going with estimating based on our acquisition of Esticom. So with Procore Estimating, our customers inside of Procore can now get everything they need to properly do estimating and takeoff, so that they can have that connected back to their budget and back to their job costing. Features like drawing markups and AI-powered auto count make it more easy to estimate and do takeoff. And of course, what we know is that when you can get that collaboration up front in a project, you actually reduce the risk to the project. And that's why we're so excited about some of these pre-con and pre-construction features that we're going to be talking to you more about later this fall. So with that, let's pass it over to our next presenter.
All right, let's go over project management. Louisa?
Thank you, Eliza. My name is Louisa, and I'm a product manager leading action plans. I'm pleased to introduce notifications, which just recently released. You can now configure email and push notifications so you and your team can stay informed of upcoming work to ensure everyone is accountable at each step of the plan. So I'm going to jump into a live demo for notifications. I'm going to share my screen and let me know if you can see it.
You're good to go.
Awesome. So just a recap for the tool. With action plans, you can simplify complex processes involving multiple stakeholders and large sets of documentation by organizing and sequencing your acceptance criteria across sections of a plan informed by due dates, verification methods, and all that work can be coordinated by assigning approvers, receivers, assignees, and others. This crucial level of accountability can only be achieved through robust yet flexible notifications. And for that reason, we have designed this matrix. As you can see here, we have multiple triggers that you can select, all organized and assigned by the different fields that I showed you. And you can also select where you're going to get that notification, either yourself or for your field team. So that would be through email or through push, and that would be on your iOS or Android device. If you need to change back to the Procore defaults, you can do that here. And with that, you can make sure that your team is accountable, they're informed, and they're always on the same page for any type of task that has to happen in the project. Okay, can we go back to the slides? We're also working on project level templates. These are templates with pre-filled project level information, enabling field teams to create hundreds of plans with ease, reducing the time to create plans by up to 80%. This becomes critical for projects requiring hundreds, if not thousands of plans, such as think of wind turbines or residential apartments or large hospitals. Right now we don't have company templates, and this would allow us to have additional information pre-filled right before creating a plan. Next. We're also working on change history. With change history, you'll be able to track changes made to the plan at a granular level. And why is that important? Well, as we've seen, action plans is able to create a sequence plan, including a lot of documents, a lot of stakeholders, and a lot of events are happening throughout the project. Given that amount of information, it is critical to be able to track plan changes throughout the project for transparency and traceability. Think in the future, if you need to prove that something was done or something was done in a specific way, with change history, you'll be able to see who did what, when did it happen, how did it progress, and it just helps you and your team know what happened at any stage of the process. We can go to the next one.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. We have quite a few updates for BIM. My name's Dave McCool. I'm one of the product managers for BIM. So I'll try to go through these quickly. We'll start with coordination issues. So we have improved the reporting. So last quarter, we introduced new fields to coordination issues. So we redesigned the PDF report for coordination issues to not only include those new fields, but it also allows you to export now with or without the activity feed. Next slide. You'll see that in the next couple of weeks. Also last quarter, we introduced coordination issues in the web viewer. So in the side panel, you'll see the coordination issues. You can click on them and it'll show you those issues in context with the model. And you're going to see us over the next couple of quarters continue to improve and enhance that side panel experience. One of the things that you're going to be seeing this quarter is search and filter in that side panel. So this will allow you to obviously search and filter, organize these issues much more efficiently and effectively for your teams and meetings. Next slide. All right, so also last quarter, we introduced dynamic 2D views specifically for walls. And with that, there was the ability to measure, but we have kind of doubled down on improving that tape measure experience because we know how important it is that you get precise measurements to things that not only objects, but the non-objects more importantly. So we give you dynamic dimensions when you select an object, but if you have things like non-objects, like blockouts, for instance, we want to make sure that you can measure exactly to bottom a block out to the level or the side of a block out to grid line. And so we have, we're going to be improving that tape measure tool so that you can not only see the precision with the magnifying glass, but you can also edit the end of the measurements and move them around. This is also a prerequisite as we look into research and development on dynamic 2D views for horizontal, so for floors, because there's a lot more non-objects on floors like equipment pads, slab depressions, you know, if you need to float tile, or penetrations for shafts and for sleeves. So we want to make sure that we have a robust tape measure tool as we move into that development phase in the next coming quarters. All right, last but not least, and I have to preface this one by saying thank you so much to all of you who have patiently been dealing with the publishing times. I know for all the model managers out there that have published a model, it can take you hours, sometimes days, to publish models to our platform. And so I'm excited to tell you that we've been working behind the scenes to fix this pain point for you. And we are in a phased rollout of cloud model processing. So what this does is when you hit publish, it no longer is processing on your machine. You are only going to have to wait for that model to upload to our servers. We process it on our servers. We're seeing you know, more than 10x improvements on the processing times. So for you, it's minutes. And then we take over and we process it and let you know when it's done. So we're going from, you know, days to minutes for you. And so we're really excited about this. We're at 5% this week of the phased rollout. And depending on how it goes, we may be very aggressive with rolling this out over the next month. And with that, I think I'll turn it over to Matt.
Thanks, Dave. First up for submittals, one of the things we're going to be working on is adding additional file formats in the new viewer, and this is both on web and on mobile. And this is really paving the way for supporting other file types like audio, video file formats that you can't really manage in Procore today. So this will first roll out on the submittals tool, where the new viewer with PDF markup was rolled out earlier or last year. And eventually that viewer will make its way across all the places where we have attachments in Procore. Next slide, please. Next, with submittals, we're adding in a feature that will allow you to bulk add users to your distribution lists on submittals. So just adding more functionality to the bulk actions menu. And really the great use case for this, or one of the pain points we've heard, is if you take the time to build out your submittal registry ahead of time, whether that's using imports or submittal builder, you often don't know who the right folks are on the project who might be on your distribution list. And that can take a lot of time to do this submittal by submittal. So, this will streamline that process of getting the right folks on the distribution list onto your submittals. Next slide. The next one, so currently we have a feature that you can reach out to support or reach out to your customer success manager to swap out a user in the workflow. So somebody leaves your project team, somebody leaves the company, whatever that is. Now we're going to be making that feature user facing. So this will allow your teams to come in and say, swap, Matt out with Dave because Matt's left the project. So that user will be replaced anywhere where they're still pending in the workflow. Next slide, please. The next one, another popular user voice request that we've had is just additional RFI export types. And so this feature will allow you, just like on the submittals tool, to export all of the attachments into a single zip file, or export all of the PDFs into a combined file where you can reorder those attachments and end up with a single PDF file in the order in which you'd like it to be. And both of those options will trigger an email just like submittals, so you'll get a download link from that email. This one's in a slow rollout, so we expect it to roll out to you in the next couple of weeks here. Next slide. The next one is just some more flexibility for creating and managing meetings. So this will be granular permissions for creating and updating meetings. And really the use case for this would be, giving more flexibility to you and your collaborators for people to manage their own meetings without needing to give them admin access on the tool. Next slide, please. So the next is kind of a collection of functionality related to daily logs and the pending entry feature. So one of the things we hear a lot with daily logs is the need for better compliance. And so what we're going to be focusing is some granular permissions and additional UX enhancements that will allow you to generate pending entries for more companies from your directory, as opposed to just companies that have submitted previous entries. And then allows your collaborators to have permissions to view entries created for their company. So a big reason for that would be allowing people to see if somebody else has already submitted an entry for the day to minimize duplicate entries. But then this allows you to generate the pending entries and then have your collaborators fill out those pending entries, as opposed to filling out a duplicate entry or a separate one, and then you're going back to delete the pending one that you had created. So lots of stuff coming with regards to daily log compliance. Next slide, please. Another one we'll be doing, adding into daily logs. So the configurability and custom fields team recently added additional custom field types, such as a company picker or person pickers, rich text fields. So we're going to be bringing those additional field types to the daily logs that support custom fields today. So that's manpower, notes, and visitor logs. Great example of a use case for this would be, for your manpower logs, if you have tier 2 subs that are submitting, within your company or your daily log, now your tier 1 subs would be able to fill out those entries and associate that company of the tier 2 sub to that entry. So you have better tracking and reporting of who was on site and the manpower for those companies. And last but not least, with the schedule tool, we're going to be adding in an export to PDF function. This is something that we'll be rolling out in a phased rollout and have some customers testing today. And this allows you to simply generate a PDF that will respect the filters and configurable columns that you have set up in the Gantt chart. And the main use case for this is, we know folks have to add a lot of licenses to Microsoft Project or P6 in order to give their internal teams, their project executives and sponsors, access to those schedules to be able to download those PDFs. And now, you can leverage the unlimited user model that we provide to give those folks access to the schedule data in Procore. And now they'd be able to generate their own PDFs configured as they'd like to see them. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Riley.
Thanks, Matt. All right, today I've got updates for you on 3 items that are currently in development. First off, on the drawings tool, we're giving a nice fresh update to the look and feel of drawings on iOS and Android. This is going to be easier to use, a little bit more modern look, and it's going to match the design of some other tools that have been updated on mobile. Second, in the drawing markup world, we're making an update that will respect permissions in a better way. So for punch items, observations, and coordination issues that are linked to drawings, we'll actually check permissions now and block information from showing to users that have none access to one of those three tools. We'll follow up with more tools that can be linked to drawings after this initial release. And the reason we're doing this is to not show information to users that shouldn't see it. We'll also have some small UX improvements so it's easier to navigate drawings while viewing information for linked items. Lastly, in the submittals world, any markup that's made to a submittal attachment on web will now be viewable for users in the field on the Android app. This is going to be a read-only state of markup and is going to match functionality that exists today on the iOS app.
Now let's go through resource management. Mark, you're up.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm excited to talk about the recent and upcoming releases for time and material tickets, or day worksheets for those of you tuning in from Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. Our team has been focusing on making it easier for you and your field teams to make the transition into a well-integrated digital solution so that both your field teams and your office teams can save time and be more efficient when managing extra work. So let's dive in, starting with the recent updates to configurability. At Procore, we know that extra work and changes are the only constant in construction, and that the information that you're required to collect is not standardized across the industry. You as the ones performing the work need a consistent way to record the information on site, but also need to abide by the requirements outlined in your contracts with your clients. As a result, we've continued to make our tools more flexible. So you can set up your tickets and or day worksheets in Procore to match your exact needs. For example, if your contracts do not require daily verification, you can now hide the singular performed on date and add a start and end date to the general information section so that your team can record all the resources used over multiple days. Alternatively, if you do not record employee names on your time and material tickets or sheets, you can now record labor based on classification, time type, and total hours by removing the employee field. So your field teams are not required to enter every employee name, and only the relevant information is visible when your clients are verifying your tickets or sheets. This, along with the ability to turn on and off any section, allows you to configure exactly what information your field teams record, giving you complete control so you can ensure the right information is captured on site. Which leads us to some of the upcoming releases that are focused on streamlining the process for your field teams so that you can be notified and take action quickly. Now, we keep hearing that one of the areas that is challenging for field teams when making the transition from paper to a digital solution is how they can efficiently add workers who are not previously on a project. Today, we know that it's required for them to reach out to your team so that you can add a worker to project, which significantly hinders your ability to record the information in real time and get it back to you in the office. This is why we're adding to the granular permissions that enable you to specify if a field team member should have the ability to add a worker on site. As you can see, we wanted to simplify this process as much as possible. Rather than requiring them to jump out to a different tool to add that worker, they can now add that worker specifically inside of the time material ticket or day worksheet as well, simplifying the entry for your field teams, saving your teams and office teams time by removing those barriers for your trusted site teams. Which leads us to what our team is going to be working on for the second half of 2021. Really focused on helping to improve the efficiency for the actual collection out on site. Now, with paper, we know it's a requirement for your field teams to duplicate the entry when recording payroll, as well as when they're actually recording time for extra work so that your clients can verify the time that was used. However, with a digital solution, we're working on ways we can save your field team's time, while also helping to improve the consistency between what's recorded for payroll versus what is being verified on an extra work ticket. Your foreman will be provided with entries from today, but also given the option to pull from time cards from any day that's required. Based on how you've configured your timesheets, they'll be given the option to select from subjobs and respective task codes or cost codes assigned to each of the respective time cards, allowing them to quickly navigate to the appropriate time entries to add to your ticket or sheet. On the other hand, if your foreman is looking for a specific task code or cost code, they can actually skip through those options and quickly search for time entries associated with that code. And finally, if you want to find a specific employee or worker to quickly add them to a ticket or sheet, they can search them by name, confirm what that time was entered for prior to adding them to the ticket or sheet. We plan to get this feature into a beta state so we can partner with folks just like you to ensure we're removing that duplicate entry for your field teams so they can quickly import the right time cards, enter the respective material, equipment, and even sub-tier subcontractor information so you can get it verified by your clients so you can get paid. With that, I'll hand it on over to Arsh to introduce some of the exciting items that our team have been working on to improve flexibility in timesheets. Arsh?
Thanks, Mark. I'm here to talk about timekeeping. We know how critical it is to have flexibility when it comes to tracking time of your employees working in various regions or across different types of projects. To that end, we've been working on adding configurability and customization to the timesheets and My Time tool. I'm excited to say that the configurability piece has already been released on July 12th. What field sets allow you to do is mark fields as required, optional, or hidden. So if there's an essential piece of information that must be captured when employees are entering their time, you can mark those fields as required and ensure time cards are as complete as possible before they're given to supervisors for approval. But if there are certain fields that are not pertinent to your company, you can hide those fields and simplify the experience for your users. To build on top of this, what we're currently working on is adding custom fields to both of these tools. So if there's key information that you're not able to capture with the natively provided fields today, you'll be able to add your own custom fields and define what kinds of fields they are, a numbers field, a text field, multi-select, etc., so that you can capture information like per diem, shift hours, or other pay modifiers. What's nice about these custom fields is that they'll be available in the APIs, custom reports, and they'll also be supported in Procore Analytics. We hope that this enhanced flexibility will enable you to track your employees' time better and more efficiently, and that you'll be able to tailor the timekeeping solution to match the needs of your business. With that, I'll pass it over to our financials team so they can share all the excellent work that they've been working on.
Hey everyone, my name is Miguel, one of the product managers for financials, and I'm really excited to tell you about all the great things that we're working on this quarter. Across all of our upcoming enhancements, you notice that we're doubling down on making our products more flexible, configurable, and easy to use. If you want to learn more about any of our releases or get involved with testing, please reach out to your account teams to get in contact with us. So let's start off with work breakdown structure, or WBS. Today, we have 3 standard segments: subjob, cost code, and cost type that you can use to tag, organize, and report on all of your financial information. We're giving you a major upgrade with the ability to have 10 additional custom segments. Think about things like phase, funding source, or location, for instance. This will give you so much more power, flexibility, and granularity when it comes to tracking and reporting on your job costs. This is first being applied and rolled out throughout financials, but our ultimate goal is to have this to apply WBS across Procore, and we've built it in such a way to support that. Custom segments are going to be available for reporting and analytics. We are currently in beta, and it will be available later this year. Next slide. We're completely modernizing the look and feel of our contract tools. With our new designs, you'll be able to efficiently create contracts and fill out your schedule values on one single page experience. You'll find it much easier to navigate and find the information that you're looking for with things like anchor links and thoughtfully organized information cards. We're currently testing this on prime contracts, and then we'll bring the same updates to purchase orders and subcontracts. User-facing, custom, and configurable field sets are coming to financials, and we're starting off with contracts. You'll be able to create configurable field sets for each of your prime contracts, subcontracts, and purchase orders, and include up to 30 custom fields in each field set. You can now ensure that your teams are filling out the most important information, and your jobs will be able to report on custom fields in both analytics and custom reporting. For those of you that have Procore configured custom fields, don't worry, your information will be migrated and you shouldn't notice any difference. We're currently beta testing and we'll be releasing shortly thereafter. Identifying potential financial impacts proactively is crucial to evaluating risks and ensuring projects remain within budget. We're striving to make change management process effortless and, to be honest, a lot less painful. I'm excited to say that we're making major investments into change management, and we're starting our development by modernizing the change events user interface. With our new modernized interface, we're optimizing for efficiency, flexibility, and ease of use. We want to decrease the amount of time it takes you to create a change event and also find the information you need when reviewing for approvals. We're also completely modernizing the user experience for managing subcontractor invoices as well. We still have line-by-line approvals with comments. You'll be able to efficiently manage your retainage held with multi-line bulk edits. And you'll notice you'll be able to access all the information on one page without having to navigate between tabs. This means you can see the schedule values and total value of the invoice on the same page, and you'll also be able to expand and collapse the invoice summary information. Like all of our other UI modernizations, we want to make sure that we're saving your valuable time by making it easier to create and review invoices. This experience is rolling out now. I'll pass it off to Kristen to tell us more about workflow on subcontractor invoices.
Thanks, Miguel. We are thrilled to announce the power of custom workflows will soon be in your hands. By empowering you to set up your approval process within Procore, you will operate with confidence, knowing the right team members will be automatically notified and reminded. We understand that workflow is about what you don't have to do. So our goal is to continue to automate the busy work. Not only will this increase your productivity, but also your consistency and reliability. Simply create a company-wide template and apply it to your projects. Additionally, you can now route a workflow to your leadership team for high-risk invoices by setting dollar thresholds. Once set, your workflow will automatically launch upon submission of an invoice from your internal team or an external vendor. After an assignee responds, the workflow will trigger the next step based on your template, so no time is wasted. Following assignees will be able to view previous comments and attachments right in the context of the invoice itself. As we fine-tune this capability and add additional features with a subset of clients, we are excited to roll out workflows across more tools and customers in the coming quarters. Thanks, over to you, Reed.
Thank you. My name is Reed. I'm a product manager at Procore, focused on accounting integrations. Procore is continuing to invest in integrations between Procore and your accounting software. Large customers typically have broad enterprise resource planning tools or ERP software, but every customer, large and small, every business, large and small, needs to know what their finances look like and rely on accounting software to do so. Today, we integrate with any accounting software. There are three main ways. One is partners from the broad Procore ecosystem who build integrations. Our professional services organization builds custom integrations. But for a lot of our customers, having something that's plug and play is really compelling and really valuable. We have a number of Procore built integrations, and today I'm pleased to announce 4 new integrations with Sage Intacct, one with MRI, one with Acumatica, and a 4th with Yardi. By having Procore and your accounting software linked, you eliminate redundant data entry, you save time, you ensure timely and accurate information, and ultimately give both the field team and the office teams confidence in the decisions that they make based on those financial data. I'm really excited to continue to invest in this area over the coming months and quarters, and you'll be hearing more from me later.
All right, let's kick it over to Kate to talk about some reporting and analytics.
Hi, we're excited to be building an enhanced reporting experience with a beta launching later this year for financial customers and later on for all Procore customers. Enhanced reporting will allow users to report on all of their data, including their inactive projects, build reports with data from across all Procore tools, and build reports with improved formatting, filtering, grouping, subtotaling, calculation, and visualization capabilities. Enhanced reporting will also improve on report performance. Let's jump into a demo. As you can see in the new reporting experience, on the side, fields are grouped by tool to make them easier to find. This is currently only showing a subset of the tools that will ultimately be available in the financial reporting beta. To add a field, I simply click the checkbox next to its name. I'm also able to search for fields. Once fields have been added, I can drag to rearrange. I can also drag to change the column width. As I add fields, you'll notice that the granularity or level of detail of the report changes based on what I've added. So for example, if I go ahead and add budget code, the report will adjust to show that level of detail. This makes reporting far more flexible and allows users to create reports spanning multiple tools. I'm able to group fields. In this case, I want to group by the company name from the commitment. And as you can see, when I do that, the commitment line item amount is automatically aggregated in the grouped row. I'm able to expand the grouping to see the details beneath. Using these buttons on the sidebar, I'm able to access more reporting capabilities. Let's go to filters. I want to filter and only show commitments that have been approved. You'll notice that I do not need to add that field to the report in order to filter on it. And I can choose to either include certain values or exclude. In this case, I only want to include approved. These additional tabs in the sidebar will be used for calculated columns and visuals to give you ultimate report flexibility. And that concludes our demo.
Thanks, Kate. What a great demo. I'll be talking about enhancements coming soon to Procore Analytics. First, we've heard clearly from owners that they value flexibility, and having the ability to analyze their portfolio of projects and assets by custom fields is critical. With this new update, owners will be able to easily slice and dice their portfolio of projects by asset ID, building, contractor, or any custom field they configure at the project level. This new capability is being implemented with sticky filters, so the filter context will remain in place as you navigate across pages. Next slide, please. We have a number of other Procore Analytics enhancements planned also. These include adding support to financial related reports for work breakdown structure. With this feature, you'll be able to easily filter, group, and aggregate on your WBS components. This will give a lot of flexibility for roll-up reporting and analytics. We also recently released several additional reportable fields to the RFI dataset. These will also become filterable columns in our RFI related reports. We also plan to expand support for custom fields by adding capabilities at the project level, on financials, specifically on prime contracts, commitments, and purchase orders, and on the timesheet tool. Finally, we'll be adding additional reportable fields for the subcontractor invoice tool with line item level detail and additional reportable fields on the timesheet tool. Now I'll hand it over to Adrian to talk about platform flexibility.
Thanks, Jason. So next we're going to talk about the project admin custom fields. So we all know that field sets based on what Arsh and a few others have gone through is the ability to mark fields required, optional, or hidden. We are now introducing in a beta for project admin custom fields. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that in the application. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So the adding custom fields and modifying your field sets all starts at the company admin level. So you can see my cursor at the top under company admin. We're going to navigate to the right-hand side under project settings, and we're going to go ahead and click on field set. If you want to modify other field sets for other tools or custom fields, you do that under tool settings. Once I go ahead and click on field set, it's going to take me to the field sets tab. I'm going to go ahead and edit this field set or create a new one if I didn't have one here existing. And this is the page where I have the ability to modify my field set. And again, field sets are all about marking those fields required, optional, or hidden. So if we're thinking about how to get the most out of the cross-tool reporting that Kate was talking about, or if you all have Procore Analytics, really that first step in the journey is standardizing your data. And you do that through marking fields required, optional, or hidden. But what we're talking about is once you mark those fields required, optional, or hidden, we're going to go ahead and have the ability to add custom fields. So down at the bottom, and what we have in beta is the ability to add custom fields, up to 15 custom fields to this particular field set with a lot of different field types. So field types are, if I come in here and go to add custom field, I'm going to go ahead and create new. I have the ability to choose the field name and choose the field type. So a lot of folks have been mentioning there's a lot of different types of fields that we could be adding. So the reason you'd be adding custom fields, if field sets are all about standardizing your data and ensuring you're getting good data points. So when you do leverage analytics or cross-tool reporting or in-house reporting, you're making sure you have data points across all of your projects. You're communicating to your teams that you've customized Procore to meet the needs of your organization. And then custom fields are all about bringing in new data points that you weren't able to bring in previously with leveraging custom fields. So I can add in a company field, an extra date field. So if I want to start reporting on maybe particular information about a client or what jurisdiction I'm working in, any other potential piece of metadata would give you the ability to report all that information, kind of categorize your projects in a way to gain insights. So go ahead and fill out that field name, add in my field type, and I'm going to go ahead and then I'll go ahead and click create. It's going to add it to my field set as a custom field. And again, you can also add custom sections. So a custom section is really a grouping of one or more custom fields that you get to name. And again, when I go ahead and save this, I'm going to go ahead and save it to all of my projects. I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm. Once I hit confirm, these custom fields will now show up on the project admin page. So if I were to come into my project admin page at the project level, when I'm going to create that project at the company level, and you're surfacing all this information down at the bottom, we're going to see a section called supplemental information, and I'm going to have all of my custom fields that I can add. And again, you have the ability to mark these fields required, ensuring that you're collecting good data along the way. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it back to you, Alyssa.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining. That was our last update. Again, we are in the testing phase, so please feel free to take our survey that we have. They've just dropped in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to Slack What's Coming webinar, the channel, and hopefully we'll see you next quarter. Thanks, guys.